The most haunting thing is not the death of a loved one. It is the moment you realize, after they are gone, that the warning signs had been there all along, but you missed them. Have you ever regretted not paying closer attention to the small changes in your parents or grandparents? The ones that seemed harmless at first, but were actually their silent way of saying goodbye. Words they could never quite speak out loud. Death never comes out of nowhere. It always leaves traces. The real question is, do we love them enough, and are we sensitive enough to see those signs? In this video, I want to share with you 7 subtle but incredibly important signs that an elderly person may be entering the final year of their life. These signs are not loud or obvious, but once you understand them, you will know how to be there for them, how to love them, and how to prepare yourself, so that when the time comes, there is nothing left to regret. Before we begin, leave a comment below with a positive affirmation, something that reflects your love and commitment to your family. For example, I will always be fully present for my parents, or anything else that comes from your heart. And do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss out on important and meaningful content like this. Let us build a community of understanding, love, and connection. Are you ready? Because the small things you notice today might turn out to be the greatest gift you could give to someone you love. First sign: declining cognitive function and memory loss. A decline in memory and cognitive ability is one of the clearest signs of the brain deteriorating in the final stage of life. This happens mainly because of reduced blood flow to the brain, which deprives neurons of the oxygen and nutrients they need to function properly. When the brain is not getting enough energy, its ability to process information starts to fade. Neural connections weaken and memories begin to slip away. Neurological studies have shown that in elderly individuals or those in the final stage of life, critical areas of the brain, like the hippocampus, which is responsible for storing memories, shrink significantly. This leads to memory loss and cognitive disorders. What is especially tricky about this condition is that it does not follow a predictable pattern. There are days when they seem completely clear-minded, talking logically and even recalling memories from decades ago. But just a few hours later, or on a different day, they may become confused, lost in their own thoughts. This is why many families mistakenly think their loved ones are just being forgetful, and fail to realize that this is actually a sign of a nervous system that is slowly shutting down. When you notice these changes, the natural reaction might be to try to bring them back to reality, to remind them, to argue, or to push them to remember. But in truth, this can create immense psychological pressure, making them feel even more panicked and anxious when they realize they can no longer control their own memory. What matters most at this stage is to create an environment that feels familiar and safe, one where they feel comforted, not judged or rushed. Be patient. Even if their stories no longer follow a clear thread, just listen. Speak gently. Offer soft prompts instead of asking pointed questions. For example, instead of asking, "Do you remember who I am?" try saying, "I am your name, and I came to spend time with you." In addition, neuroscience has shown that familiar stimuli can help slow down cognitive decline. Family photos, old songs, or familiar meals can help stir up what memories are still there and help them feel more secure. Keeping their lifestyle quiet and free of stress-inducing stimulation also plays a major role in helping them through this difficult time. Second sign: persistent fatigue and exhaustion. The kind of fatigue seen in the final stage of life is nothing like the tiredness we feel after a long day. This is complete physical exhaustion, where even the smallest movements become a challenge. This happens as the body's internal organs begin to shut down, especially the cardiovascular system. When the heart can no longer pump blood effectively, the supply of oxygen and nutrients to the body's cells is cut back. Muscles lose strength. The nervous system responds more slowly. The entire body starts shifting into energy conservation mode. Metabolism slows down, leaving them without enough energy to function the way they used to. That is why people in this stage tend to sleep much more than usual. Not because they are lazy, but because their body genuinely does not have the energy to stay awake for long periods of time. Medical research shows that during the final months of life, cells in the body gradually lose their ability to absorb oxygen efficiently. This creates a constant state of energy depletion, even when the person is doing absolutely nothing. When the brain does not receive enough oxygen, alertness drops, the body reacts more slowly, and extended sleep becomes the brain's way of adapting to this weakness. At this point, the most important thing you can do is to respect what their body is telling them. Do not force them to move around or keep up their old routines. That only causes more stress and increases the risk of further exhaustion. Instead, create a peaceful, warm space where they can rest without feeling pressured. Make sure they have a comfortable bed, soft enough to avoid pain from lying down too long. If they are too weak to eat solid food, provide soft, easy-to-digest meals or liquid nutrition that their body can absorb without the strain of chewing and swallowing. Beyond the physical symptoms, this kind of exhaustion takes a toll emotionally too. When they can no longer do the things they once loved, they may start to feel useless, like their life no longer has meaning. That is when your presence becomes more powerful than anything else. A simple touch, a soft word, or just quietly being there beside them. These things can make them feel safe and cared for in ways words alone never could. Third sign, changes in vision and hearing. As someone approaches the end of life, both vision and hearing can decline noticeably. You might see them squinting, blinking constantly, or staring blankly into space. Their eyes may no longer focus on people or surroundings. Sometimes they will stare off into a corner or seem like they are looking straight through the person in front of them. When it comes to hearing, they may stop reacting to voices, even familiar ones, or not respond to laughter and sounds from loved ones. These changes are not just signs of aging, they are closely tied to the weakening of the central nervous system. As the body enters its final stage, blood flow to the brain drops significantly, which affects the optic and auditory nerves. This disruption in sensory processing makes it difficult for the brain to interpret what they see and hear. Images may become blurry, distorted, or even hallucinatory. Research in geriatrics has shown that a lack of oxygen to the brain directly affects the occipital lobe, the area responsible for processing visual information. When this part of the brain weakens, some people may start seeing things that are not really there or feel like they are looking into another world. The same goes for hearing. It is not just that their ears are aging, it is that the brain can no longer decode sound the way it used to. It is not that they do not want to listen. It is that their brain cannot properly process what they hear anymore. In some cases, they may even hear voices that are not there, a common occurrence in the final stages of life. Many people in this phase begin to experience vivid hallucinations. They may see or talk to loved ones who have already passed away. While this might be unsettling for family members, research shows that this is not a sign of mental illness. Instead, It is often a natural part of the body's transition between life and death. Many patients have shared that they feel the presence of those who have gone before, or that they sense they are getting ready to leave. This is simply the brain responding in a different way as its neural pathways slowly shut down. During this time, the most important thing is not to pressure them to see or hear better. Doing so can only add to their confusion and anxiety. Instead, try to create a calm, quiet environment. Avoid harsh lighting and loud noises. If they begin talking to someone who is not physically there or reacting to things others cannot see, do not immediately correct them or panic. Just be patient. Listen. For them, this may be part of how they prepare to let go. Fourth sign: changes in skin and sensitivity to temperature. You may start to notice clear changes in their skin, pale or bluish patches, especially on the fingertips, toes, and knees. These areas might also feel cooler to the touch than the rest of their body, even if the room is comfortably warm. This happens because the body begins to prioritize blood flow to vital organs like the heart and brain, reducing circulation to the limbs. As a result, the tiny blood vessels under the skin start to constrict, causing discoloration or pooling of blood in certain areas. Some people may even develop darker or mottled patches, which are signs that circulation is slowing down significantly. The skin not only changes in color, but also becomes thinner, drier, and more fragile. At this stage, the body's ability to regulate temperature weakens. Some may feel cold in a warm room, while others may experience sudden hot flashes. Caring for them during this time is not just about keeping them warm or cool. It is about avoiding anything that might damage their delicate skin. Use soft blankets. Avoid rough fabrics. If they need extra warmth, gently raise the room temperature instead of piling on heavy blankets, as their body may no longer regulate heat well. When their skin becomes more fragile, avoid rough massages or applying lotions with strong chemicals. Gentle, thoughtful care can help them feel more comfortable and also reduce the risk of painful pressure sores. Fifth sign: unexplained weight loss. Sudden weight loss with no clear cause is one of the most alarming signs of the body breaking down. The body, which once stored energy for survival, now starts using up the last of its fat and muscle to keep going. You may notice your loved one looking visibly thinner in a short time. Their face becomes hollow, arms and legs shrink, and their clothes seem to hang loosely on them. This is not because they are choosing to eat less. It is because their metabolism has slowed down or nearly stopped. As organs like the digestive system and liver weaken, their ability to absorb and process nutrients declines. Even when they do eat, the body may not be able to turn food into energy efficiently. As a result, muscle mass and body fat begin to disappear. Appetite-regulating hormones also change. When the brain realizes the body can no longer sustain itself, it shuts down hunger signals. They may no longer feel like eating, even if they have not eaten anything. This is not a rejection of food, it is simply the body entering energy preservation mode. Chronic illnesses such as heart failure, kidney failure, cancer, or depression can also accelerate weight loss. These conditions interfere with how the body processes proteins and fats, and chronic inflammation speeds up the breakdown of muscle tissue. The result is a rapid physical decline, even when they seem to be eating normally. Instead of trying to force them to eat more, focus on offering nutrient-rich, easy-to-digest foods. Soups, nutritional drinks, or fruit smoothies may be the best options. More importantly, let them eat based on what their body wants, not what a strict meal plan says. If they can only eat a little at a time, Break meals into smaller portions and make sure they stay hydrated and comfortable. Sixth sign, changes in body odor. One of the main reasons for this change is the buildup of toxins in the body. When the liver and kidneys, organs responsible for filtering waste, begin to fail, metabolic byproducts start to accumulate in the bloodstream. This leads to noticeable changes in body odor, breath, and even the scent of their skin. Some people may give off a slightly sweet or sour smell caused by disruptions in how the body processes energy. In cases of liver or kidney failure, the odor can be more distinct, often described as ammonia-like or metallic. The digestive system also plays a role. When digestion slows down, food may linger longer in the stomach and intestines, causing stronger smelling breath or increased gas. In people who are eating less or have lost their appetite altogether, the body begins to break down fat and protein for energy. This releases ketones, which can create a breath odor that smells like overripe fruit or nail polish remover. Changes in sweat and oil glands also affect body odor. As these glands weaken, the skin can become either drier or more oily, creating a breeding ground for bacteria in moist areas like the armpits, back, and groin. Especially for those who are bedridden, body odor may become more noticeable over time. At this stage, the goal is not to mask or eliminate body odor completely. It is to help them feel clean and comfortable without irritating their skin. Daily baths are not necessary. Gently wiping down sweat-prone areas with a damp cloth is often enough. If their breath smells different, offer water frequently or use mild mouth fresheners if they are comfortable with it. Most importantly, do not let them feel ashamed or self-conscious. Body odor is not a sign of poor hygiene. It is a natural part of the transition the body is going through. What matters most is your love, your care, and your respect. Seventh sign, loss of bladder and bowel control. As a person nears the end of life, a decline in bladder and bowel control becomes a clear but often misunderstood or avoided sign. Families may misread it or feel uncomfortable talking about it, but it is something that deserves attention and care. You might notice that they go to the bathroom much more or much less frequently than usual. In some cases, they may lose full control and become unable to manage urination or bowel movements on their own. This is not a sign of carelessness or a lack of awareness. It is simply the result of the kidneys, bladder, and intestines losing their function. When the kidneys begin to weaken, their ability to filter waste from the blood becomes impaired, which disrupts how urine is produced. Some people may urinate frequently, while others may barely urinate at all due to severe kidney failure. Muscles also play a key role here. The sphincter muscles that control the bladder and rectum become weaker, and the ability to hold and release waste becomes less reliable. This can lead to accidental leakage or an inability to control when they need to go. On top of that, many medications commonly used in end-of-life care, especially opioid painkillers, can cause severe constipation, adding to their discomfort. At this stage, the goal is not to completely fix the issue, but to help them feel comfortable and respected. If they lose control of their bodily functions, use adult diapers or other support products gently and discreetly. Do not make them feel ashamed. For constipation, make sure they stay hydrated to prevent hard stools. Soups, fruit juices, or vegetable broths can help. If needed, doctors may recommend mild laxatives. Most importantly, care should be gentle, respectful, and reassuring, helping them feel safe and less anxious during their final days. Recognizing these signs does not mean giving up. It means loving and caring for your loved one in the fullest, most compassionate way possible, helping them feel less pain and allowing them to pass peacefully, surrounded by love. Sometimes, the greatest thing we can do is not to hold on, but to walk beside them, listen, and be fully present with our hearts open. If you are walking this path right now, remember, you are not alone. A simple touch, a soft word, can bring a deep sense of warmth and peace, even if your loved one is no longer fully aware. This is not a sad ending. It is a deeply human transition, a part of life filled with meaning and love. And if this video has helped you in any way, please consider sharing it so others can recognize these signs early and be better prepared. Leave a comment below with a message for your loved ones, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel to continue receiving meaningful content like this.